Alright. Here we go. So, we have recording, we have streaming, we don't have chat. Whoops. We will get that in a moment, and as soon as I'm gonna start up the recording on this machine, we will begin. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, test, 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 test. Alright. As long as I'm not clipping though. Oh yeah, and as long as the proper microphone is chosen. Okay, I believe we are golden. Oh yeah, and probably also a good idea if I am recording the proper monitor. Fantastisch. Okay, so, right. Okay, no phantom power. There we go. Okay, beautiful. I was clipping there for a moment. I'm still clipping. Test, test, test. Oh yeah, I'm clipping like there is no tomorrow. That is actually kind of strange. Oof. Toot 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 toot. Testing, testing, testing. Righto. Okay, microphone, mix to mono. Any filters? Nope. Alright. Well, I could very well maybe even just be clipping. Right. Okay, so, right. The funny thing is that, not that the audio recording is too important on that side. Hey, have a stream schedule now, so that's great, I think. Let's see. So, technically, according to the stream schedule, Thursday, not supposed to be streaming, but I haven't streamed for the past 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, I think. So I would rather not, you know, lump up another day off there. So I'll stream until the next Thursday, which is when I'll take my day off. So I'm gonna start Krita. What I want to work on today is I'm actually going to work on the Birth of Reapers project, and I want to test a few things out. I want to test out how well we can use Krita's Krita's tools, Krita's pixel art tools, because Birth of Reapers is based on, it's inspired by the Crawl game. The Crawl game is a heavily pixel art oriented style game, so I will have to see how well we can animate or how well we can draw stuff in pixel art in Krita, which I know it has the toolset to accommodate that particular style. I just haven't actually touched those tools yet, so it's kind of a moot point. Now, to quickly go over, the concept art that I've created up until this point. So if I go to 2018, Birth of Reapers, concept art. Okay, so this is the concept art, and I've lumped it up into one single file. Not smart, because now, now I have to go in and root around for all of these files. So the general idea is this set. All right. And the reason I mean, it might make sense to people dropping by in live right now, but it probably won't make sense for people watching this on the platform, because for them it's probably just a next video in the playlist, so they're thinking, we just did this, we just watched this, right? But in reality, I actually took a bit of a break. In fact, the previous live streams were actually just recordings. They weren't really live streams. But in this case, this is actually, I'm actually switching it to the live stream format. I figured it might as well. It's kind of early in the life cycle of the program, of the platform, so I might as well have it done here in the public eye, and then afterwards these live streams will become private. Okay, so we did characters, and this is what I actually want to do. Right. Oh man, I'm still clipping. It's so annoying. Way to set up. Oof. Jesus. You know what? I'm actually pretty sure that if I turn this down, that does literally nothing. Then I have monitoring headphones, which if I turn them down does also literally nothing. And then I have the master channel, and that is actually doing something beautiful. So now I can turn this up-ish, sort of. Right? Right. Okay. Actually, you know what it does? It turns out... See, this is so weird. This is so weird. The master volume on that interface is changing the input volume that goes into the computer. That is backwards logic routing. I have no idea what the hell that's supposed to be. But anyways, what I want to do right now is actually separate all of these files into separate pieces. So, right, so I want to save this. This is going to be level layout design, or level yeah, level layout. Okay, then we have the assets. So this is just a list of assets which I need to make, in pixel art. The first time I actually tried to make this project once, the first time, and I was recording the process, and my levels actually turned out to be way too they turned out to be way too high res in the retrospect of pixel art. So the crawl is super pixel art, super pixelated, sorry. So I want to do the same thing. I want to mimic the same level, the same resolution that the artwork took place there. Okay, so this is level content. And what sort of level content is it? This is... Okay, so level content, sure. Assets, I should have said. Okay, this is level concept something. Concept painting, I think. Okay, well, let me actually do a quick test. Okay, there you go, there you go, beautiful, everything's working. Okay, these are supposed to be the catacombs, right? Right, so if these are the catacombs, I'm gonna need to save level 1 crypt dungeon. Yes, that's what it is, so that can stay the same. We can then go here. These are level ideas. Oh man, okay, you see these things are not lining up properly. Okay, level, these are level sketches. And I'd have to segregate this into separate level types too. Okay, so this is level content. That's correct. This is something else. This is the level layout. Level layout. Yes, sir. Super loud warning noises. And this is sketches. Sketches. Okay, we have level layout. We have level layout 01. We don't need that. Okay, beautiful. So that means with this one, I can actually delete this project or this folder, I think. Yes. Delete that. So now we have the enemies. Yeah, the Plague Ghost. Concept art. Enemies. And the Plague Doctor. Well. Goost. Plague Doctor Goost. Okay, let's save this. This is the Warlock, I think. I'm not sure how you spell Warlock. Yeah, okay. I spelled it right. The Brute. Okay, so these are like sketches. Sketches and nothing. Okay. Hey, look at that. Okay, so everything's been nice and separated. So I'm gonna close this. Right. Okay. So pixel art. Pixel art. So if we take a look at Krita, we do have pixel art tools. So if we move in real close like. Okay, I need to make sure that this can actually handle well. It's like I'm talking about a car. Let's make sure it handles nice. Okay. Let's go with the bucket tool. Okay, not what I needed. I also realized that my live stream page right now, or my live stream, yeah, my live stream description, I think it says restream. I think it says that I'm working on a different game. What does it say? Child of Ether game dev live stream. Okay, yeah. So that's not right. This is actually Birth of Reapers game dev stream. This thing has been changing. It's changing way too much. Okay, first of all, no black outlines. Good God, that is terrible. So I need to okay. I don't suppose I can actually select these. Well, actually I can. It's just going to be kind of weird. I need two. Where's the tool that I need? Where's that? Colorize mask editing tool. Fascinating. Okay, this. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was gonna say the second time I've lost this. Okay, so select that, select this, and then Control Shift I. And now I can go ahead and color that in. You know what would actually be even better? And this is something that I've like constantly rediscovered. We can do something like this. We'll go with our brown. We'll define the room. Let's see, K. No, not K. F. So we'll... What? Oh, I'm filling with the wrong color. Okay, we'll do this. And then we can group this. New layer. Add a mask. And now we can go ahead and paint the top side, the wall. Beautiful. Okay, so if we take this, see we can paint, but there's no pressure sensitivity here. Now what is this? Pixel art fill. Really? What is this? Dithering. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Ah, nice. Okay, but anyways, we need an extra tool here, so I'm gonna go into opacity, use pressure, and we'll go ahead and save this. So this is pixel art alpha. Save. Now pixel art alpha will have to go into the pixel art tab so that it appears here. Pixel art alpha. And that's doing nothing. Okay, come on. Unless it's because, yes, it's because it's a single bar or a single pixel thing. Although that makes no sense. Sharpness, I think that's what's doing it. Yes. Okay, it is, but the problem is that the sharpness is actually helping us. Brush tip. There's got to be more than one way of defining a pixel art brush. Spacing? Nope. No spacing. Density, randomness, angle. You can paint with text. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there's your brush. Let's see, diameter, ratio. I guess we have to use sharpness. It wouldn't be, yeah, it wouldn't be pen pressure regulated. Just a constant. Okay, you know what? That's fine. It is what it is. What we can do is we can just gradually adjust our sharpness if we need to. Just like that. That, and here we go. Just slightly more saturated. Now this is actually the first time that I'm actually dabbling in pixel art while meaning to try to do something in pixel art. For example, Artag Rise appropriated the pixel art style, not even completely, but generally speaking, just because it's like a very high res pixel art style to the point where it sits on the border between where it wouldn't even be considered pixel art. But the problem is that when I was creating the original tiles, I ended up creating the tiles that were the size of, they were the size of they were 32 by 32 pixels in size, and basically we made a whole lot of, like, the entire game is based on those dimensions. So your jump height, your speed, your the size of all the assets, it's based on those dimensions. And then, you know, we made a whole bunch of levels based on the properties that are based on the dimensions of 32 by 32 pixels. And later on, we found we could use some higher resolution assets. And I can't like cram large resolutions into 32 by 32 pixels. So effectively, that's when I realized I probably should have started with a higher resolution. So now I have to work around that limitation there. To effectively accommodate, try to get by with that particular resolution. And this is like way too late to be going back and trying to change anything. We've already established this is just way too much work that has been done, and the generally speaking, the payoff of going back and trying to redo it is not that big. Right? I've been finding ways to get by with that particular resolution. Okay. Okay. Now, one thing that I saw in Crawl is actually the use of this darkened shape around the edges. So this was something like, yeah, something like this. In fact, this is where transparency would come in handy, right? So that I think, however, it was only affecting the floor. So like that. Maybe we can check that in a moment. I just wanted to see what this would look like. Okay. So yeah, funny that I started talking about resolutions because, yeah, as I said, this is the second time when I started doing the concept artwork for this game. First time before I decided to stream it or make a course out of it. I can't quite recall which one it was. But the first time around, I actually made assets and designs that were once again way too big. I can actually show you if I still have concept art research. Nope. Promotional screenshots, Birth of Reapers. Here we go. Yeah, so as you can see, yes, it's concept art, but it's kind of high res. Like speaking in pixel art terms. I mean, this could very well work. As I said, I'm experimenting with this stuff because in retrospect, this is actually a good point as to why you should give yourself time to adjust to your artwork before making any major changes, because this to me actually looks kind of neat. It's pixel art based, yes. It's higher resolution than, say, Crawl, but at the same time there's something about it that just kind of looks interesting. So Crawl would be, I think, something about this big. Scale-wise. more or less. While in here, it would probably be more along the line of this size. So a lot more space for detail. I have options. This is what it basically comes down to right now. I have two options that I can go with. I can either go with something like this, or I can go with something like this. The benefit of this is that I already have a bunch of assets made for this. I think if I still have that project. Let's see. So we've got engine, concept art research. I don't think I have that file still. Really? Really? Well, that's kind of Birth of Reapers. Warlock, Brute, Plague Doctor. Yeah, okay. I don't think I have the original project file. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I thought that I wouldn't like that style, the scaling of this, of everything here. Maybe I thought that I didn't like it that much, and that's why I ended up getting rid of the project. Kind of a bummer, but then again, maybe not. Oh man, hold on. I can't believe I did it. Did I do it? That was kind of dumb. Concept art research. I mean, let's see, level layout. Promotional screenshots, yeah. Catacombs, poor area, which was some sort of a level 1 crypt dungeon, level 1 crypt dungeon. These are all backup files. Oh man. Okay, well, you know what? It's not a huge loss because I can easily recreate all of these things. My real question is whether or not this or this is what I want to go for. I mean, granted, it's not a fair comparison because I haven't done enough in here to kind of make a judgment call. This looks very barren and probably not very representative of the work of the final style, I should say. Okay, here we go. Or maybe I'll just play around with the idea here. See where it gets me. Okay, so as long as I stick to like a 2 pixel size, I would be able to, unless there's like anti-aliasing that we can disable. Flow ratio scatter. Yeah, if there was something like anti-aliasing. Brush tip. Blending mode. Hey, there we go. Anti-aliasing, except it's enabled or disabled. And anti-aliasing is the function that's supposed to pixelate all of your stuff, all of your artwork. It's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Here we go. I have no idea what this door is turning into. Mm-hmm. Let's make it like the front frame. As a matter of fact, I mean, this door looks this door looks way too sandy. Okay, here we go. Can use this. So we'll make it brighter. And maybe draw something like that, very faint. Not to mention that this entire level, where this entire game is supposed to be somewhat randomly generated. Somewhat. Okay, so when we play as the character, there's plenty of space to move around, at least. If I take a look at this, also plenty of space. Ah, man, I'm torn. I'm torn between the two. This would be true, more true to the original game. And that's what the concept art stage is for. This is for figuring out what your game will actually look like. Come to think of it, this door is absolutely humongous. Oh, 1 second. I need to go to tool settings, and I need to make sure that we're actually scaling to the nearest neighbor. Otherwise, it's going to interpolate between pixels and end up messing up the edges, our edges. Okay. This could work. I'm trying to get a sense of scale. So I think this white outline would represent the size of the monitor, or the size of the screen, as in game. Oof. Here come the air raids. Okay. I mean, if I actually zoom out and give, let's say, the players this much, the amount of visible space is actually fairly usable. Right? Right. I've reached the same scale. The scale of how much space the player has to run around versus how much space, or how big the player is. So how big the player is versus how much space he has to walk around in. Because if the player is going to be this big, well, that just about ruins ruins a good portion of the space. And this is something I had to figure out last time. Alright. I want to give the players plenty of room to run around. I mean, once again, this is not really a fair comparison here at the moment, because the other room is so much more detailed. It's got content. Content is key. What am I painting on? Okay. Okay, so what was the pixel art fill? Okay, maybe there's a preserve alpha? Ah, okay, so preserve alpha does exactly the opposite of what I needed to do. I need to paint on alpha. And that's damn it, that's why it's much better to start off with a box silhouette with a darker color. Okay, let's do it like that. Right, and then this will be a silhouette, and then I'll toggle preserve alpha and I'll go brighter. I'll go ahead and define these edges here. You know, disregarding the atrocious perspective. Let's see how to do something like that to fix that up. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. There you go. So we'll be able to break this. Break this. I really need to do like more tests like this to see how the level would look like. Oh, come on. Current layer. Brighter. go. Maybe even make this into like a cabinet sort of a thingy. Okay. And we can probably put a few books, fairly pale books. Alpha. Let's grab our tool. Do that. Maybe even do this. Okay, more or less. It gets the point across. I mean, I would probably also want to, I mean, if we're talking about dynamics, we probably want to make sure that these things have a bit of a shadow underneath them for one. This would be, of course, underneath all the assets. First of all, and second of all, where is the overlay? This guy. Well, this is actually turning out fairly well, to be honest. Just generally speaking, in terms of, let me redo this door. Not entirely, just this face. So we'll preserve alpha. As a matter of fact, I want to go with a more of a door colors. It's door color. What is a door color? Okay, something like this. It's more or less, yes. Drop this down a bit. I'm gonna start, you know what? There. Like that. We're gonna go brighter. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. Let's go slightly brighter yet. Let's pick my fade brush. Okay, and of course, a dark doorknob. When it comes to the overlay, I probably want to either match that shape make sure that there's an even, or at least a matched curvature to these things. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll lock transparency there. We'll copy this color, go slightly brighter. And add this thing. Perhaps we can even, maybe? Oh yeah, we can't. We can't add more shadow. I mean, for one, this would be a lot less work than this. Granted, not that there's an exponentially larger amount of work for this, but there is an amount. Okay. One thing that I did not quite enjoy in this piece is the fact that I was going for this. Not that I was going for a certain color palette, but the way the color palette turned out to be was very, like, very desert-like, very Egyptian catacombs like, and I didn't like that too much. Also, I'm not sure if I was specifically going for very pale colors, desaturated. This has more of a, you're in a castle or you're in some sort of a dungeon with wooden structures in it. This one feels like this was a sandy stone area that was populated with some random stuff. I don't know. You know, this is the decision I'm going to have to make, because this is a decision that will henceforth define or declare. Yeah, it'll define what my artwork is going to look like. All right. Okay, that's that. These are the shadows. I guess the shadows, the direct shadows, probably be more pronounced. These are, as I said, these are tests. Tests at getting this thing to work. I do like that the extra resolution gave me, oh, looks like he's hanging. Oh man, I do like that the extra resolution gave me space. Enough space to define a good looking silhouette. Even just a sketch. With this one, however, bottom, top, middle. There we go. Here we go. Do this. And we'll go ahead. Oh man, it looks fat. It looks so fat. It's random floaty bits. There is an animation that I did for this character as a test. Now he looks like Bender. Okay. There's an animation that I did for this character as a bit of a test, just to see. This was kind of my first engagement with concept art and pixel art animation. Okay. So that'll be that. Yeah, see, this is way too big. Something like this. And then I have this. So let me actually take a look at the animation that I did. The test animation. I'm pretty sure the test animation was actually the scale of the first attempt concept art. All right. Let's see. Not that the limitations of that particular resolution is making it impossible to animate, you just have to pay more attention to the shapes. Every sprite counts, or every pixel counts, I should say. Right, so there you go. That's the right. So let's make it like 10 pixels. Yeah, so as you can see, enough resolution to have a swinging arm, to have some movement all around, plenty of space. Now actually, this is a 64 by 64 pixel image. How big is this guy? Height. Okay, so this guy's height is 36, so pretty much half the amount. Although this guy is probably also about 35 pixels, because if I stop this, go here, and if I move this, how do I move it? This. If I move this down, yeah, it's exactly half the size. So yeah, I think I can fit this character into this environment, and maybe I will. Maybe I will. As interesting as this is, the workload would accumulate, right? If you're looking at one single asset, how much one single asset takes to create, how long it takes to create one asset in retrospect wouldn't really look like a lot, but man, I like the way these boxes look. These boxes look like nothing. They look nothing alike. Let's see. Select the wand. Nope. I said Limit to current layer, select the wand, Control L. Wait. Oh, these are more gray, that's why. That's why. They're more grayish. That's why they look so cool. Fuzziness. Yes. Okay, so we'll go with U. Saturation. I don't want to saturate too much. Okay. We'll go over there. There we go. Come on. Erase this. This weird triangle head. Also, considering how much detail is in the concept art versus how much detail is actually going to be made into the pixel art, it's almost painful. Like, all of this detail work is basically not gonna make it. Unless I go with this style, in which case you would have enough resolution to still make some sort of an attempt to put this detail in. I mean, the creator of Crawl could have very well gone with the style that he did, because he made an assessment of how much work would he have to put in he would have to put into to create all of the assets at the larger resolution, how many assets he had to create, and how many assets he could create in a certain amount of time to make an assessment of how long it would take to get this project done. So that could very well go into your calculations. I mean, you can make some super high res. You can be shooting for some super high res images and sprites and animations, but when you have 100 different characters you have to animate, suddenly you realize, ooh, it's gonna take a long time, especially when you're by yourself. So this could be a stylistical solution that has basis in the technical limitations. Let's go for desaturated. Some desaturated color. And just like that, we can suggest they have a certain style of clothes without committing to putting too much detail into it. Okay. Hey. I mean, sure. It looks like it could work out. How long are the arms here? Not long enough. Let's see. Let me do a test and see how this character would look like in pixel art. So let's see. Let's actually move this outside. Come on, to the top now. Off you go. There we go. Again, all this detail is great, but that's... You have to put all that work in. Okay, so we have a dark mask, or a dark skin, light mask. So the skin would be able to contrast the mask. Okay, and then we have the neck, and that separates, yeah, that separates the robe. I probably also want to darken up the top hat. Okay, before I go into that, so we have a shoulder here. So this doesn't quite represent, there we go. That didn't quite represent the shoulder very well, and that means that this guy would have to go here, and I could probably expand on that. I think the ropes could actually be slightly brighter, and they could have a bit of a blue tint to them. So, okay, this is the continuous selection tool. I have yet to set up the shortcuts, because some of my shortcuts are still from like Photoshop days. Okay, that's good. Only slightly darker. Yeah, if we can't do contrast by value, we'll do contrast by color. And then we'll probably have to do something like this. In fact, I can use the alpha brush for that. It's perfect. Okay. I mean, we can pull it off. Once again, if the whole purpose is to do a pixel art game in the style of Crawl, then I think we're on a pretty good track here. Okay, so I need to do a comparison. I need to take a look at the assets. I need to take a look at some of the screenshots from Crawl, just to see how far into the detail they went. The devil's in the details. Crawl game. Okay. He has some really low res images. Whew. Okay, so there's definitely shading going on, but no more than just two values. Alright, so if we have this surface, then we should probably actually use, let's see, hue saturation value, lightness. Value goes from black to black, or black to the most saturated color. Saturation in turn goes from, okay, hue saturation lightness. No, I need to change those three bars. Okay, it's hue saturation value. Color hotkeys, interesting. There we go. My paint, color model. My paint. Oh. Fascinating. Not what I want. Minimal. Do not show. Line count. Really? Ah, we can select what it is. Okay. So this is hue, saturation, right, and value. Okay, is that it? Value, hue, saturation, value. Yeah, but it doesn't go. Okay, so I think I'm misconstruing what that particular tool is supposed to be doing. Although I do kind of miss it. Shade selector. Yeah, that's not it. Color model. HSI. Okay. Let's stick to the basics. Okay, so if we go here, do we actually have digital color mixer? I see. Not what I wanted, but that's okay. Touch Docker, grids and guides, composition comic manager, animation curve, artistic color selector. What in God's name? Huh. Oh, I think this is what the setting was supposed to set, eh? Oh, cool. So this basically separates the colors. That's neat. and then lightness. Well, that's actually really useful. Let's see. If we go here. We'll pick this. Ah, that's actually pretty cool. Doesn't really seem to be updating. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be updating with it, so that's okay. It is what it is. Let's go over here. Pick a darker hue. The only thing that I can really do is make this larger to make it easier for me to pick the slightly darker shades. Okay, beautiful. That's what separates the crawl artwork from other pixel art, from this, the shading, added shading, that, and you know, skill obviously, but more or less it's the added detail of shading instead of just using flat colors. It might sound obvious until you start making your own artwork, and that's when like observation really starts helping you get into the groove of things. Okay. Oof. Come on. It could work. Nice, nice. Hey, that looks interesting. Let me actually recolor the top hat with just a brighter gray color so it doesn't match the color of the mask. Okay, not bad. I think we can work with this. These guys here are pretty much just kind of tests. They're pixel art tests, scaling tests, just to see if, just to figure out how much work creating assets for these things would actually require, versus how much time it's gonna take. Hey. Hello. It could work out. I think it could work out. Another thing is, how would the movement take place? I don't think I ever answered that question. Let's see. If we take a look at crawl, okay. So not the step-by-step animation. Okay, so it looks like while the animations are indeed pixel art based, they're still scaled up. So they're scaled up maybe twice, 4 times, if not like 5, 6, 10 times, because they move very smoothly. Like, if this is 1 pixel, then technically when you move an object 1 pixel to the left or right, top, down, then it would actually move that exact 1 pixel. So when you zoom in like this, it would look like there's a huge jump because you're so zoomed in. 1 pixel is this huge block, right? Relatively speaking. So if you move an object by 1 pixel, it would be like, right? Actually move that 1 pixel, which would make this look jerky. Very jerky. And I've had an experience with that when I was working on the Game Jam game. I picked a very small resolution because I wanted to, I want to make a low res pixel art game. And when I moved the player over, first of all, the camera would actually, like, it would be very, it would move in a very grid-like fashion, like, right? Because the resolution is so small, right? So I had to fix that by detaching the movement of the camera from an object and make it like a sub-pixel movement. And the different problems started popping up there when all the other objects in the room would start jerking around as the camera moved. And that's because the game didn't know which pixel these things are supposed to be drawn on, right? So, yeah. Just an observational thing. So, even though these pixel art graphics are this small, does not mean that the actual game is taking place in a very small portion of virtual space. These things are most certainly scaled up. That's hilarious. I like that mask. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we could definitely do this. Another thing, I just need to kind of look at the player scaling. It's got a 2 pixels that define the nose, single one for the eye, and a single one for... This is like a super low res game, eh? That is amazing. Not only that, the animation quality. Right? Talk about all the jargon, low res pixel art, when the actual skill is in the animation itself, and it shows. Now technically this actually pretty much is almost up to scale. Right? We've got our hair. We've got our nose. And we've got our eye. More or less. Yeah, gotta pay attention to detail. This one's got a weird Elvis Presley type of looking thing. Mm-hmm. With this guy, however, I find that A, his neck is way too big. B, he is way too big. Oh god. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Come to think of it, I think it was just fine. More or less. His head was a bit big though. So maybe I can scale that down. That looks like a mumming troll. Okay, here we go. I've never dabbled with pixel art at this sort of a scale, not at least while meaning it. Besides that one Game Jam game where I did try to purposefully go for pixel art, and it was, I mean, it wasn't a complete project, so I don't really count it towards that much of an experience. So, not bad. I like the process. There's a lot of like fixing that goes on in it. You can't really sketch a high resolution motion. Like you can't do a high res sketch and then turn it into, or paint pixel art on top of it, unless you maybe use something like image references. But then, you know, if you want to sketch every single motion in high res and then scale it down and put in low res, that's a whole other step you gotta add. So at that point you have to consider, is it just easier to do this straight in pixel art, right? Not a whole lot of sketching can be done in pixel art, right? All your sketching is going to be just as pixelated, which is why, you know, turning this into this is very tricky. I almost wish there was some third style of pixel art where this could be portrayed as this in this resolution, right? I know you can go to this resolution and then get that done. Anyways, yeah, this was more of like a test, more of an experiment with the game scaling, right? And I think I'll have to do a little bit more testing to really solidify the decision, either go with this or to go with this. All right, well, that's what it is. That's the job. Okay, this has been great. I will see you guys in the next live stream. All right.